Our legal committee not only outdid themselves this year, they continued to produce 2 very successful events, the always popular professional standards seminar that we had, workshop, and then the Realtors in the Crossfire. Plus, they started working on office policy manuals and all sorts of other tasks. You know, congratulations, Roger. Very productive year, Diana, and all your subcommittees and chair and members of that committee for a job well done. Professional development continued its important work with our education programs and even added some more courses on this year. That was successful. So changes have been happening. And the feedback that I heard firsthand from the convention this year is better than any that I've heard in a long time. The committee has already started hard at work at planning next year's convention, which I'm sure will continue the trend of being unconventional because it's being held in Portsmouth, as you all know. So thank you to Anne for your leadership, and to Jan and to Stacy and all of the committee members of professional development for a job well done. Our presence at the state legislative, managed by our public policy committee, was once again strong, united, and our win rate was on track with past historical successes. Our bill to protect the interest of those engaged in the 1031 tax exchange transactions not only passed, but did so in an extremely tight and contentious fiscal environment. Thank you, Lynn and Bob, and to all your committee members for all the hard work that you do. And also to our task force and working groups. We had a lot this year, and poor Tom had to chair a lot of them. But we had a lot of task force. Some of them were held over from last year, past President Paul Sargent's year. The bylaws working group, you may all remember, completed its work this year. That group worked longer and harder than they anticipated when they accepted that volunteer position. And they presented its findings to you, the Board of Directors, who adopted their suggestions, albeit with some changes and some tweaking here and there. But that's the beauty of the process, and it worked. Also from Paul's year left over was the Building Investment Task Force, and that is continuing to meet. And I can't wait to hear that report next year because I know they've identified some options, and I think it's going to be all good. New this year, the State Budget Task Force, which at the Public Policy Retreat had a report presented. This is going to be a valuable resource for us all this upcoming year. So I'm really pleased with the results of that. Huge thank you to my entire leadership team. From my committee chairs that I talked about, to my executive officers all sitting here sharing the head table with me, to the member liaisons who worked hard to get our message out, but more importantly also worked hard to make sure that we at NHAR heard the message the boards and members were sending us. Thank you so much to Barbara, to Dave, to Paul, to Vicki. Job well done. And thank you to past President Paul Sargent, who was so true to his word. He was always there for me, and I so appreciate that. The silent rock. And what other past president? My husband, Jay McGillicuddy, who happens to be here in the back of the room today. Yeah, the poor guy, he became my trusted confidant, which is expected, but the poor guy had no choice but to listen to me over and over and over and over again. And at times he just kind of rolled his head up, but he listened. So, lastly, I want to thank every single one of you in this room because you were all part of my year, and it has been a wonderful journey, and I really so appreciate the opportunity to lead this association and the trust that you entrusted in me to do that. It's been a great year, and I couldn't have done it without all your help and your participation, and I certainly couldn't have done it without our staff. Paul Griffin, our Executive Vice President, one thing I said to him in Chicago last year, when we went to the President-elect's leadership conference at NAR. I asked him to please not let me drive over a cliff. And he said he wouldn't. And you know what? I went this whole year, I probably came close a couple of times, but I went this whole year with that comfortable feeling of knowing that I could trust and rely on this person next to me. And that was wonderful. And all of our NHAR staff, Diana and Jan, that I've known for many, many years, have supported me. And Diana, in fact, I don't know how long you have been pushing me to run for president, even when it wasn't something I wanted to do. They never stopped believing in me. But all of them were a huge part of my team this year, along with you all in the room. And I am a firm believer a firm believer that it's the people behind the scenes that are crucial to the success of the association. The president comes and goes. We have 1 year, and boof, we're gone. But the staff remains, as you all know, and carries out the business of the association every day. I'd really like all the staff members in the room to please stand up, because I know some of you are already standing, Bob, and thank you. Thank you so much for all that you've done. I have often said that the volunteers are the heart and soul of this association, and that is true. But our staffers are the cement and the glue that keeps us all together. So thank you for everything that you have done together to make me look good and to, better the association. So now it is time for me to actually pass the gavel. This will be I just need to, one more time. Sit tight because we have a special presentation, but I'm going to go ahead and pass the gavel to Tom Riley, who will be your leader next year. And without a doubt, I know he will do a phenomenal job.